Another month has passed, and it is time yet again for another episode of Choose Our Own Adventure. This is the Patreon show. So thank you all at the $7 and up tier for donating your hard-earned ducats and listening to this nonsense. So we have the usual cast of the Adventure Gang with us. Who is to my right?
Test Your Might Trivia Champion, 1987 Kickball MVP, Jermon Jackson. I'm just going to add something to this every episode.
It's going to be like a Khaleesi when it's all said and done. Breaker of Banes. And who is across the table from me?
Leslie Ellsworth, Thrower of Shade.
Thrower of... Ooh, I like it. And then immediately gives us all the evil eye. And what little fella's to my left?
Brian Martin, holder of no superlative.
Sir, you are the legendary trivia host. That's a hell of a superlative. Let's get right into it. We got all sorts of topics and the whatnots to talk about. How are you guys, before we get into everything, how are you guys feeling about the whole WFAE thing? Man, we're a couple weeks into our mentorship by the hands of the podcast gods. How are y'all feeling?
I wasn't really sure what to expect going into the mentorship, but so far it's been enjoyable. I do like that they're kind of giving us homework assignments, things to listen to and think about, in between each one.
Yeah.
And then go over that and why it's important and that sort of thing. So far positive.
Yeah, it's pretty dope so far. Pretty dope. You guys got anything?
Been pretty good vibes so far.
Yeah.
Very, very informative. Very
Extremely,
informative.
yeah. It's every week I'm thinking, like internalizing a lot of it and applying it. So I think it's been really, really productive so far.
Yeah.
As do I.
If nothing else, it's definitely going to enhance the podcast one way or another.
It'll enhance, or we'll just all be bitter and salty the episode after we lose.
Look, as long as one day Peter Sagal's able to guest on our show, that's the goal. Forget winning, just get Peter Sagal. 5 minutes with Peter Sagal to just talk about pop culture.
That's the goal? That's the end game?
That's my goal.
Okay.
Like you guys.
So let's talk. It's been almost 2 months since we recorded our free episode for everybody in our quest to become at the top of the heap for the WFAE contest. So congratulations to us for that. First of all,
Oh yeah.
Let's talk a little bit on Captain Marvel. Man, Captain Marvel has been out in theaters for 2 weeks now.
It's on. I think it's on Blu-ray next week.
Would not surprise me one bit.
Yeah, man, they're pumping those bad boys out quick now. What are our overall thoughts on Captain Marvel?
Good. I mean, I'm glad we kind of didn't do this right after Captain Marvel because it's got to sit and digest a little bit.
Yeah.
But I feel pretty good about it. Yeah. I enjoyed it quite a bit. There are things I liked and things I thought were a little bit heavy-handed. Mostly like going so far with the I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar that we're doing just a girl during a fight scene. I'm like,
was way too on the nose.
We get it. You can be slightly more subtle with this.
I loved that.
I mean, I love the song.
Yeah.
No,
So-
I mean, I loved that.
The only more on the nose they would have been is if they were just narrating in song form what was happening on the screen.
Oh yeah, I love that.
She is now punching Jan Ra.
I mean, how many movies do we have Eye of the Tiger playing? Is that not on the nose? I loved it.
There's like one.
One? Yeah.
But yeah, no,
more.
that's definitely on the nose. So that's a fair assessment.
I'm surprised Whitney Houston's version of I'm Every Woman. It was no one there.
Yo, boy, man.
Come on, 90s.
I would have been wilding out in the theaters if I'm Every Woman came on. That's my favorite Whitney song.
Is it really?
It's all in me.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, what do you think about Captain Marvel?
I enjoyed it. It was an enjoyable experience. Wasn't the greatest in the Marvel canon, but it was a fun experience. I liked Brie Larson and Sam Jackson. Their chemistry was amazing. The chemistry between her and I don't know the actress's name, but played Maria Rambeau.
Yeah.
That kind of carried the movie. Mm-hmm. Ben Mendelsohn, good
Oh
lord,
man, the MVP of the movie, I think.
brought the lumber.
Goose is getting a lot of the credit.
Yeah.
But Ben Mendelsohn really crushed it in this. I really loved it.
And you could tell they were really playing with that Ben Mendelsohn
They
trope.
subverted those expectations.
Yeah.
He's always
Yeah.
the villain.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Leslie, what do you think?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I agree. Not the tip top of Marvel movies, but definitely closer to the top than the middle for me.
Okay.
I not to be super fangirly, but oh my god, I loved it. Just I loved all of the girl power stuff. That's not something that we get. There's not typically a soundtrack that I hear in a movie that I'm like 100% love every song, thinks that it fits well with the movie, and this is, that I can actually relate to. And this I did. And yet maybe I liked that was on the nose. I loved it.
You're allowed to. You're totally allowed to.
Oh, yeah.
I guess, and this kind of got better on reflection for me. I think a lot of the like female empowerment stuff got a little meta, like especially the scene where like smile girl, and then she takes his motorcycle. I liked that though, but I was like, after we did it like a few times, I was like, you could be just a little more subtle with this.
Well, here's the thing. That happens.
Oh, I know,
all
that's the
time.
point. I mean, like that happened to her, like in the whole lead up to the movie.
But that was written before that happened to her. That was not added in because it happened. That was in there because that's what females experience. That is the woman's experience.
That's a really good point.
The same.
So I guess I should be blasting the trolls.
There you go.
Okay.
See,
Why'd you ruin this one part of the movie for the trolls?
I actually liked all the stuff that I felt was going to trigger the trolls. Like the Sam Jackson stuff, the Nick Fury, like how he lost his eye and everything.
No, I do not like that.
I love it.
Annette Bening, like basically them gender flipping
Marvel.
Oh,
yeah.
so many people are mad about
yes.
that.
I was like,
why?
Yeah, I know why.
I'd be mad about that.
Yeah.
Like you would have thought like they would have been more pissed if they had the male, Marvel in there because it was a supporting character basically. Like
Yeah. The dopeness, though. Where do you rank this? Top, middle, bottom?
probably like somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Brian?
Yeah, definitely middle of the road. But I mean, middle of the road is still like pretty good for Marvel.
A middle road MCU movie is still better than damn near all the DC movies.
Most even when you get towards the quote unquote crap Marvel stuff, it's still like it's watchable stuff.
Yeah, and I think it kind of begged
Nothing
comparisons
watchable
to
Incredible Hulk.
I think it kind of begged comparisons to Wonder Woman just because, hey, it's two superhero female movies.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I believe that the first third of Wonder Woman is better than the first third of Captain Marvel.
I said it was
But
two-thirds.
But maybe even. But the back end of Captain Marvel is far better than the back end of Wonder Woman.
Correct.
So
Yeah,
that was kind of how I felt
exactly
coming
I
out of
balanced
it.
that out.
So I think I may have enjoyed Wonder Woman a bit more on my initial watch of it than I did Captain Marvel. But as you said, having time to sit and reflect and think about it, I can relate to Captain Marvel a hell of a lot more than I can to Wonder Woman.
You weren't raised on an island full of women with godlike
Surprisingly,
powers?
no.
I like
America?
I like to think nobody on Earth can relate to Gal Gadot.
Maybe Gal Gadot's mom and sister?
Right. I doubt even that.
But you have, I could relate to Aquaman and the whole, you don't know what's going on with your family. They've been hiding things, that sort of thing. I can relate to other male superheroes. I can relate to some aspects of Wonder Woman. But this is the closest to my reality, to my lived experience.
Sweet.
So,
Yeah. I don't think there is a scene in Captain Marvel that comes close to the No Man's Land scene from Wonder Woman.
Right.
Oh, my God, that No Man's Land scene.
yeah, that is
Everything.
amazing.
From when she steps out of the trench until it's all safe. She fucking shouldered a tank in that scene. And I guess I didn't know I needed a woman shouldering a tank in my life.
I don't even think that was that subtle, but I guess that was my frame of reference for everything. Like that scene felt so organic and not at all like a meta response to anything.
Right.
And so I guess like that was the scene I kept waiting for, and I never quite got it. And that didn't really kill Captain Marvel for me at all. Like I still loved it, but that was that when I say like I feel like it was a little too on the nose, that's what I mean. Like I was waiting for that No Man's Land scene.
Yeah,
I even Yeah, I even love that scene towards the end where, Jan Rog is basically defeated and, they're going to the old fighting hand-to-hand trope and then nope.
That was the best.
I liked it
that was
in
good.
this movie. I hated it in Kill Bill 2. I wanted that fight scene in Kill Bill 2 so bad.
Well, I would say the difference there would be you never saw Bill trying to hold her back with her skills, whereas Jan Rog, that's all he tries to do.
Yeah.
So it's not as powerful of a step for her to just kill Bill as it is for her to just shoot him.
Yeah. Dopeness. Okay, let's pivot on over to our boy Spielberg. Oh, Steve.
Oh, man.
Oh, Steve. So Steve is one to, quote unquote, preserve the integrity of cinema and the cinematic experience by disqualifying streaming films from the Oscars. What are our thoughts on that? Do you think he has a point?
He's sounding very get off my porch right now.
I kind of get where he's coming from. Because I don't think Spielberg's the kind of guy who watches any movie at home. But I mean, his home is probably a movie theater.
He probably has his own personal theater somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
But so to that end, and preserving the aspect of cinema that the spectacle. Look, I just watched Us in that like Dolby theater at AMC for the first time with the rumbling seats and and I think Lupita Nyong'o came out and smacked me in the face at one point during the movie, like it's that real.
Okay.
So I mean, I get that whole experience, and there are certain movies I will always feel that way about, but I don't think that not watching a movie in the theater damages the integrity of a specific movie so much that it is disqualifying. And I think that at the end of the day, we have to support theaters because they'll be extinct in 10 years if we don't. But at the end of the day, it's about the product itself. And I don't think that, watching it at home versus watching in a theater is a disqualifying experience.
Exactly.
Agreed. And you pretty much stated what I was going to say. Like, how the Oscars aren't choosing these movies based on how they felt seeing them in the theater. That's not what it's about. That's not what the categories are about. So there's no reason for that to influence what can participate.
Yeah, the Academy Awards of Arts and Sciences are there to give what's supposed to be awards for the quality of a movie, someone's performance in this movie, not you sitting there in a theater watching them perform this role.
Or else they would sit next to you while you're watching it and just gauge your response to everything. Which is, to be fair, I think that's how they do pick the best animated film. I don't know, my kid liked this one. He shut up for 2 hours. This one gets my vote.
How long did your kids shut up for this movie? Oh, he kind of trundled away 15 minutes into it.
I'm to the point now where there's certain stuff I don't need to go to the theater to see. Like, I usually reserve my theater going experiences for mainly blockbusters and those big popcorn flicks, because what's the point of seeing, certain dramas on the big screen?
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with that point, but
I mean, you want to, if you're on you have a big screen, you want to see spectacle, more or less.
I don't know. I like the idea of seeing a giant Rachel Weisz.
Exactly. The movie is beautiful looking, like The Favorite is fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
You want to see that on a big screen, big a screen as possible. Vice, I saw on a big screen, and I fucking loved Vice. I don't think I would have loved it as much if I just saw it on a TV at home.
It's like, it feels like Christian Bale is chewing you up for 2 hours. What did you say? It feels like Christian Bale's just chewing on you for 2 hours.
Yeah, I think Spielberg needs to just until I would say like maybe 5 years down the road, and all of a sudden we find out that Spielberg's doing a movie for Apple TV.
Yeah,
a whole different story. The thing about it is weird is there's a very real possibility that Martin Scorsese gets nominated for something for The Irishman coming out this year. And that's one of Spielberg's best friends. So he's basically saying, hey,
yeah.
this film my best friend made, I don't think it should be nominated for anything because it's in theaters for one day, I think, or one week release, and then it goes straight to Netflix.
Now, do you think that maybe all this is stemming from the lack of an Oscar nomination for Duel back in the 70s?
Yeah. He's made
Look,
for TV.
I made a
film,
TV movie once and nobody liked it.
Yeah. I don't. He's very old man out of touch right now, I feel like, and he can't. Like, there's two different thoughts on film Twitter right now. Half of them's like, he's Spielberg. He's the greatest living filmmaker of our time. You listen to what he says. And then other half is like, this motherfucker needs to get with the times. But also, you just can't say he needs to get with the times because he's the greatest living filmmaker of our time. You gotta respect the man, but he's just blatantly wrong on this.
I mean, if Tarantino had his way, we would just still be using like 75 millimeter film, you know, for everything. Brain wraps all around. Like, I mean, I was a projectionist for a while. It isn't pleasant.
Nope. But that is how I saw Hateful Eight with film.
Oh, I did too.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful. It
great.
was beautiful.
That first half of film Twitter will never convince me that somebody is so good at one thing that they shouldn't be questioned. That's ridiculous. That is a ridiculous take.
That's a very good point.
That's a very good point. But yeah, he's the greatest living filmmaker of our time.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic. I love his stuff, but
And see, the whole
that doesn't
stigma,
mean he can't be wrong.
Yeah, the whole stigma now with straight to video, straight to Netflix is like they've broken it now because I mean they're making blockbuster quality movies on Netflix now and with name brand actors and everything.
Yeah, they've come a long way since Crouching Tiger, Hidden
Oh yeah,
Dragon 2.
God. Oh my
A
God!
long way.
It's exciting living in a time when Balto 2 could have gotten an Oscar nomination for Best Animated Feature.
Yes. All right, let's get into some of these adventures that have been chosen for us. The first one comes from young Bradley Ledbetter, the proprietor of Thirsty Nomad Brewery, 4402 Stuart Andrew Boulevard, if you live in the Charlotte areas.
Plug.
Yes, plug. Umbrella Academy. He wants to talk about Umbrella Academy. Have we all watched Umbrella Academy?
I finished it. Yes.
Yes.
No.
That makes 2 and 2. All right.
Not because I don't want to, though. I definitely do. I just
Yeah.
want to be able to give it the time it deserves.
And time
Fair
is
enough.
what I do not have. Maybe I'm off tomorrow. Maybe I'll check it out tomorrow. Give it a. I think I'm 3 in right now. I need to catch up with everybody else. For you two that have seen it, what's your thoughts?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah?
I loved it. It was. I remember they did this YouTube video that came out a few years back, basically what if Wes Anderson had done the X-Men, and that's pretty much what Umbrella Academy is.
Really?
Yes. It's quirky. It's like just all the characters are so eccentric and
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was great. There were some noticeable tropes, but not in a bad way, I guess. Not enough for it to ruin anything or call it predictable for me. And without getting spoilery, I really liked the ending because that finale, I feel like, serves as both a finish for that season, a finish for the show, as well as a damn big cliffhanger.
Yeah.
For a season 2. It was. That's not something I feel like you see a lot in TV nowadays. They try to go for the big cliffhanger to keep the people reeled in and to hopefully get picked up. And this one, it didn't wait for that.
Yeah. They could if they did not get renewed, they could. That it was completely done right then and there.
Satisfying.
So it's self-contained.
Yeah.
Yes.
Self-contained story. Well, how about the story itself? Did it draw you in from the beginning? Did it take a little while to get going for you?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I remember watching the first episode and being like, oh, this is all right. It's not bad. I'll watch a little more. I was very much obsessed with Luther not taking off his damn coat. And another friend of mine also noticed that.
I think because I've read some of the first trade, and I think they went all in. Like he wasn't even wearing the coat in the first place. I think in the book.
Okay.
But
All right.
yeah, by that second episode, I was definitely
The premise,
all for it.
because they basically the first episode is like the origin story, and they set up the whole premise, and it's like, wow, this is interesting. I want to sit here and see where it goes.
Yeah.
Brian, have you read the comic at all?
Yes, yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, yeah.
And I loved that. Like when the comic came out, I just didn't give it the time of day because it's Gerard Way. Come on, like I'm really tired of like celebrities using their like star power to suddenly be like, oh yeah, and I wanted to make this comic book too, and it's like, it's a real mixed bag.
Yeah.
Usually it's not very mixed. Usually it's like
bad.
it's like getting a bag of trail mix that's like 95% peanuts. And it's like, where are the M&Ms? I'm here for the M&Ms.
That's a very, very odd analogy, but it works.
But then I read it, and then I started like just reading interviews with him more, and it's like, oh, all he ever wanted to do was write comic books. Yeah. In fact, My Chemical Romance was just a thing for him to get to a point where he could afford to write comic books on his own. And
it was the other way around. He actually used the band to actually.
And suddenly he's a genius to me. And so yeah. I mean, I was very pleasantly surprised by it. And I've read some of his other comics as a result of that, because it's and I've gotten more into My Chemical Romance as a result of that too.
Man,
so I was like,
got you hook, line, and
well
sinker, my
played,
friend.
Gerard.
Well played, Gerard.
I actually like, and they did the same thing in Watchmen with the comedian. Like they managed to use basically flashbacks and what have you to flesh out. Was it Sir Reginald Hargreaves, the father figure, member? Yeah, yep. Without him necessarily even being there. He was dead, of course, from the first episode on.
All right.
Yeah, just being able to find out the kind of person he was through, just through the children's reactions and everything was really fascinating.
All right, dopeness. Umbrella Academy. Check that out.
Oh yeah. One little random side note: that actress that plays Allison. Man, she made me reconsider my Rosario Dawson clause. Oh man! See,
Dawson clause.
The Rosario Dawson clause. See, when I get married, I'm going to have a Rosario Dawson clause in my prenups.
Okay.
So if I ever, if
the
opportunity ever arises.
We were talking about this yesterday.
Yes.
Jamon and I were talking about the Rosario Dawson clause yesterday, because I met Cory Booker yesterday at an event in Rock Hill.
Random, okay.
And so I was talking to him afterwards, and I said, "Say hi to Rosario for us." I was like, all right, so when I say like you're doing this for all of us, I'm not talking about his presidential run.
No,
I'm talking about you are doing this for all of us.
Terrible.
I think we have a title for the episode now, the Rosario Dawson clause. You're welcome.
Cory Booker is a man of the people. All right, let's move on over to Scott Self. Scott Self wants us to speak a little bit about Blackadder. Blackadder was a comedy show, British comedy show. So we're going across the pond over here. It's like a little bit about some British sitcoms. Right? Have any of you guys watched Blackadder?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hugh Laurie was on it. Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson was on it a lot. Really, really great show. And I was unfamiliar with it until I got to college. My first year of college at USC, my history professor would open or conclude maybe 3 classes a month with sequences from Blackadder that were relevant to the material that day.
That's
And the
awesome.
very last day of class was the Blackadder episode that took place in the distant future. It was really, really neat, and I didn't know what it was at the time, and then later on I realized what it was and watched more of it.
Yeah.
But
I've only seen like random clips here and there, like on YouTube and stuff like that. Have you guys checked out?
I never got into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I've known about it, and I've watched a few episodes. One of the various times I lived in Florida, my friends down there were very much into Blackadder and Red Dwarf, and so I watched a few episodes. I enjoyed it. I do believe that was my introduction to Hugh Laurie. Because I either wasn't watching House at that time or it wasn't out yet. But I only knew Rowan Atkinson from Mr. Bean, so seeing him in a role where he actually speaks.
It's like, I just thought he was like that.
Yeah. How does he negotiate contracts? He doesn't even say anything. All gestures. So people seem to love this joint, man. Ranked 16th in the 100 greatest British programs. And it was created by the British Film Institute. Not just comedies, but all of British programming. He was ranked 16th.
Oh, wow.
I can believe that.
Yeah,
I mean,
so people fucks with Blackadder hard.
Quite a collection of talent they've got working on that show.
Yeah, 2004 poll, British best sitcom number 2.
What was number one?
You know what? I thought to go back and look, but I couldn't.
I really want to see these lists now.
Yeah, right. Stephen Fry also in there. Jim Broadbent, who was my man's in Cloud Atlas, and Robbie Coltrane. Also in there. Yeah. What just happened, Robbie? Heart attack? Something? What happened with Robbie recently? Robbie's hospitalized.
What?
Yeah. Hacker's down for the count right now.
Something happened to him. It was a hippogriff attack, or I don't know. Whatever. All I know is that he can see thestrals now.
Oh,
like it was that close.
I'm just hoping we don't have to start next episode off with.
Oh boy!
Jeez.
I know Robbie Coltrane more from GoldenEye than anything else.
what I see from the Googler is he is seen in a wheelchair with crippling osteoarthritis.
There it is. I knew it was something. The man's less mobile than he was a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Strange enough, he also won a contest to come on this show. So come on over, Robbie Coltrane, whenever you want to come on, choose our own adventure. Yeah, Blackadder. Do you know if that's on the streaming services anywhere?
It was on Netflix for a while, but I don't know if it still is. It's got to be somewhere.
I'm gonna have to check this out.
I want to say maybe Prime.
I always forget Prime.
I think it's on Prime because I did watch like the first couple of episodes just to refamiliarize myself with it.
Okay.
So it's streaming somewhere, I believe Prime.
Boom, Prime. Check out Blackadder there if it's something you're looking to check out. And from the more beautiful half of that marriage, Scott Self's wife, Shannon Drury, wants to talk about a show called Voyagers.
Oh boy. This is Stargate levels right here.
This is beyond Stargate. We out-Stargated Stargate. Like, this is going to be the new thing. Because I have a really good working knowledge of 80s programming, just in general.
Uh-huh.
I didn't have the slightest idea what this was. At first I thought, oh, it's that movie. And then no, it's not that movie. It's a TV show. And I've never seen the intro for this show in my life. It's crazy. Like, I remember all sorts of weird 80s shows that nobody else remembers. Hard Time on Planet Earth. Does anybody remember that?
Nope.
Space Cases. Maybe people remember. Okay, all right. But like Voyagers?
Nothing. Blank slate on this.
Yeah, I looked on Wikipedia last night about that, and I was like, well, the premise looks pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
Go to your library.
It was like a
Like, this was all a bait and switch to get me to go to my local library.
Well played, Shannon.
It's definitely a pre-quantum leap there.
It's the Dewey Decimal Lobby that the show put on television.
So it's a sci-fi joint about time travel that was on NBC in the 80s. By the 80s, I mean it started October 1982. It was done July 1983.
Yeah, 20 episodes.
Yeah, I was born 2 days before the first episode aired.
I would have been 4 or 5.
Yeah, I was only a few months old.
Yeah. And I guess I was probably 3 when this was on, so
Okay.
a little bit too young to
Yeah.
remember it, but it wouldn't have been on in my house anyway.
No.
Here's the opening narration. I have it written down for us here.
The Saga Cell. See if we're
We
sold.
travel through time to help history along. Give it a push where it is needed. When it's Omni's red, it means history's wrong. Our job is to get everything back on track. When the Omni's red. Green light, kid, we did it. Which I do believe we saw something about we did it when we watched that little YouTube video of like compilations of scenes of that goofy ass looking kid.
Oh my gosh, he looked cute, and then he'd start grinning, and the wider his grin got, the goofier his face was.
Shit-eating grin I've ever seen on a kid.
What I did find out through that Wikipedia rabbit hole, that kid is Soleil Moon Frye's half brother.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
So did he ever make it home? Or is he like Sam Beckett?
We're just sliding everywhere.
They're probably
like
going to work
Jerry
on that on the
O'Connell.
second season. They never got to it.
Man.
If you want everyone to check this joint out, though, all the episodes are on Amazon Prime.
Really?
It is?
Really?
Yep, all episodes are on Amazon Prime.
So you watch
How
some
did we
Blackadder?
not find that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I might have went and looked and saw it on there and just wrote down my notes and then kept it moving.
Now, am I misremembering? Like, I thought I saw a clip of it where it's like he literally puts Moses in the reed basket in the river and then is like, if you want to learn more about Moses, go to your library. And it's like, no.
I don't remember seeing that.
I may have just crushed like a bunch of clips in them. Like,
Sure that wasn't one of those G.I. Joe PSAs?
right. One of those Spenzler film ones.
The compilation.
computer.
Sorry.
Help, computer.
The compilation
Who wants a
video
body
we
massage?
watched gave it like it had like a Xena or Hercules feel to it.
Oh yeah.
Like
did.
that or
Highlander or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
It feels like one of those shows that was syndicated shows.
Yeah.
yes. very
Yeah,
much.
but it just never made it to 100 episodes to be syndicated. Yeah, I feel like whoever made like Xena and Hercules, they watched this shit and they're like, we can do some shit like that.
I love that cinematography.
And then Kevin Sorbo was born. And almost never seen again. Here's one from Paprika Regular, Paprika's resident heartthrob, Evan Peanut Butter. He asks, I don't know how this shit comes from his head. What's your favorite food? Now is your movie title. Who's in it and what's it about?
Yeah, that's
My favorite, so mine is called Tacos the Movie.
Who's in it? That's not the question you gave us.
I'll tell you right now. All right, well, who directs it then?
Okay, there you go.
Tacos the Movie is directed by Robert Rodriguez.
It's gotta be.
It's all about.
Is that racist?
It's all about getting tacos over the border wall in the year 2047. It's a heist film. They're not getting stuff out, but they're smuggling tacos into America, and through the connection of taco love, the wall will come down. That's what Tacos the Movie is all about. Soft shell, hard shell. Actually, you know what? That's the sequel. Tacos 2 Hard Shell is the sequel that Robert Rodriguez was not, unfortunately, available to do.
Oh wow! I actually I was actually thinking about this.
What you got?
Okay, this is going to be a grand epic, directed by Peter Jackson.
All right.
Nice.
There's this evil wizard, motherfuckers, played by Sam Jackson. And this band of
We might have 2 show titles
Yes.
for this one. Motherfuckers.
there's this band of various people, elves and wizards and what have you, come together, say a fellowship, if you will, and they have to gather these 2 ancient artifacts to defeat motherfuckers. The peanut butter orb and the chocolate chalice to create created by this benevolent wizard Resus. And they have to put it together to create the Resus cup to defeat motherfuckers.
I love it.
Oh my god. Oh my god. This is everything I needed in my life.
Yes.
Oh, thank you for this.
3
sir.
hours.
Thank you for that. All parts of that. Leslie, what do you have?
Well, nothing that can follow that.
You can't follow motherfuckers.
Drop the mic.
I've got cheesecake, which I kind of feel like I need right now.
Okay, yeah.
It's gonna have Sofia Coppola direct it. Give it that
good pick.
that
Good
nice
pick.
like surreal ethereal
A
quality
little
to
lost in
it.
translation feel.
Yeah, yeah.
That's some
Yeah.
light, airy cheesecake. Like you could eat several slices.
Exactly.
It should be what Sideways was for wine.
Yeah.
Oh,
People
man.
going different places and tasting various cheesecakes
Yes.
and like writing reviews in their magazine, but they learned more about themselves.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, low key, I'd watch the shit out of that joint. I'd watch it.
And a not quite romance.
Not quite romance. With the cheesecake or with the person who's traveling along the way with them?
Both.
Sold. Who would be who would you cast as your main person? Would it be a female or a male that's touring the country on
Oh,
this
female.
cheesecake? Okay.
Female.
Is it Julia Roberts?
Let's give Sophia another chance at acting again. Redeem herself in Godfather 3.
I didn't think much about the casting yet.
Okay then.
Jennifer Lawrence, maybe?
I'm
No.
gonna, so this is an Emma Stone type.
That does seem Emma Stoney, yes.
Ooh, or the other awesome redhead,
Amy Adams?
Amy Adams.
Amy Adams.
This is, you know, what?
Yes.
She's finally gonna get
Amy
her first
Adams.
Oscar for Cheesecake the movie.
Yes.
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 I like it. All right, Brian, what you got for us?
So
It's also going to get Sofia Coppola definitely a Best Director nomination as well.
absolutely. I did not go for a food that I eat all the time, but it's one that I'm like, oh, I always like this, and it's really, really. I don't know that it's anybody's favorite.
Is it Thanksgiving Dip the movie?
No, but Thanksgiving the movie would have been awesome. No, this is corned beef and cabbage.
Great.
It's directed by Martin McDonagh of In Bruges.
Yes.
Stars Colin Farrell and Woody Harrelson.
Oh.
It's a sort of buddy cop movie where Woody Harrelson plays Jack Cabbage, and he's paired with this Irishman. I just call him corned beef. And they're trying to solve a string of St. Patrick's Day thefts.
Of course.
And it culminates in a boat chase on that Green River.
You know, at first when he put this out there, I was like, how the fuck are we gonna? And by far, this is the best question we've had.
Yes.
Damn it, peanut butter, you've done it again.
They go great together.
You go great together. All right, well, following that up from Michael Stargate Man Fredonia, our buddy Manny, he wants to talk a little bit about Orville. The Orville, just the show in general, man. Who all have you been watching Orville, Javon?
I've watched the pilot.
Okay, all right. Leslie?
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. Brian?
Precisely a little bit.
All right, so I watched a couple episodes, and
That's cool.
Was it? I think we've talked about Seth MacFarlane before, and my general impression of Seth MacFarlane things is that I don't think he does anything that's intentionally funny. I think he just apes things and inserts them like so. I don't think it's like a string of homages that is funny because he's asking you to laugh about it, but it's not necessarily on its surface very funny. Like I felt that way about Family Guy for a very, very long time, and like I feel like Orville, if it was just a straight up comedy show in the vein of Star Trek The Next Generation, I think I would be more okay with it. But when I watch an episode of it, and I couldn't make it through the whole episode because the humor is very sporadic throughout it.
Yeah, it's not as...
And it's mostly played fairly straightforward with some funny dialogue occasionally. So it's like Starfleet had the Enterprise D, but there was another ship out there with people who just sort of had a sense of humor about it.
Yeah.
And so it comes across as like, well, if I wanted to watch this, I'd probably just watch The Next Generation again. And that's how I feel every week with it.
Yeah, pretty much. That sums up my feelings. I think Family Guy is the only good thing I like that's come out of Seth MacFarlane. And also his...
I did like Ted, the first Ted.
Ted was actually pretty
Didn't
good.
he also do Futurama?
No.
Oh no, that's
Groening.
Mac. Yeah,
Groening.
I'm sorry. My bad. My bad.
Get out!
Take back some of my geek points.
I also do I think once or twice he hosted the Comedy Central roasts.
Yeah, he's done a few of those.
Yeah, he's very good.
He's
at
pretty
those,
good at that.
But
That one album he put out was pretty good.
He did put
Seth
out an
MacFarlane
album,
sings like
yeah.
Standards or something. It
Yeah.
wasn't supposed to be funny. I guess people laughed at it. I don't know.
This is what I find interesting, man. If you look on Rotten Tomatoes, season 1 is at 31%. Season 2 is at 100%.
That's dubious.
How does that happen?
That is very dubious.
That's a hell of an off season. They're like, we're going to retool this whole show.
They found their footing, I guess.
they might have just found their footing. They saw what worked and what didn't work in season 1. They're like, just lean more into what worked, and I guess
because
Or
drop
maybe
what
the
didn't.
only people left watching it are the diehard fans.
Yeah, because the people that
100% of 31% of people.
There you go.
the people I know that watch it, they say they love it.
Yeah.
They say it out Star Trek.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
swear
the
by
people
it.
who
Yeah.
are saying that Orville is out Star Trekking Star Trek Discovery are all people who need to be phased into the middle of space.
Yeah, I think
or transported.
it's crazy.
Into
It's
the middle
crazy
of space.
that that's become the thing. You know, for a long time it was Star Wars, Star Trek, and I never quite understood that argument to begin with because they are not remotely similar
At all.
They take place in space.
Yeah,
That's it.
that
but
was pretty much it.
But this seems to be a much more clear-cut comparison, and it really is dividing. Like you either love the Orville or you love Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah.
and neither. I don't think anybody watches both.
I don't watch
I
either.
don't think.
Dude, Star Trek Discovery is the dopeness.
No horse in this race.
I ain't got that CBS All Access.
that's all. It is it's easily the most beautiful show Star Trek has ever made. God, the cinematography on that show is amazing. I watched the second episode of Orville, season 1, episode 2, and it is a blatant ripoff of Cage.
Oh yeah, the original pilot for Star
original
Trek.
pilot for Star Trek. Just a blade. It's literally him and the character that's his ex-wife are in a cage in a zoo, and they are the human specimens. And I'm like, that's exactly what the pilot for Star Trek, the original series was. And then I was like, you know what, I'm completely done with this show. Like, if you're gonna, you know, riff on Star Trek or whatever, cool. But at least make up your own shit while you're doing it.
The episode I tried to watch was the one with Charlize Theron in it.
No,
there was one. She showed up at one point and was like Seth MacFarlane's. I don't think they were associated at any point there, but like the ex-wife was like jealous of the time he wanted to spend with Charlize Theron because she's Charlize Theron. But
even in space, she's just Charlize Theron.
Yeah, Space Theron. But like I like I said, I couldn't make it through it. It just did not hold me.
Didn't hold at all. I liked it better when it was called Galaxy Quest.
Oh yeah, oh
Yes. I never could get past the idea that Seth MacFarlane was gonna be in a semi-serious role. Like his not to be mean, but his goofy face just makes me laugh, and I don't take him seriously.
He's no Jim Carrey.
He's no.
I don't think he can make that
Steve
jump.
Carell.
Right.
Even Adam Sandler's drama is better than his comedy is.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did that.
I was waiting.
Transitioning it.
Yeah, I was waiting that first episode, waiting the whole time for some of the gross out humor and stuff like that.
Nah, he plays a little bit more straight.
Yeah.
You guys know that Seth MacFarlane was supposed to be on one of the planes on
9/11. Yeah.
Really?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
But his drunk ass overslept.
Good.
He was drunk. He overslept. He missed his flight.
And we never would have got Family Guy.
Oh, he never would have gotten a lot of things.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And not that I'm saying I wanted anybody to die on 9/11, but I really could have done without the Cleveland show. That's all I'm saying.
No. All right, so let's move it on to the next thing. Alicia Gomez, our only listener of the ABCs and TPBs. She wants to talk about, strange enough, comics. Comics turn into TV shows. What do you guys think is the best?
Well, as much as it's dipped now, but I have to say, Walking Dead. I mean, those first few seasons were
Crack.
Yeah, it was strong. Like you were just going, it's like, man, I got to Sunday night. I got to be here.
Yeah, Halle Berry's like, you want to go get some dinner on Sunday? And I'm like, yeah, sure. What time? She's like, about 8, 9. I'm like, oh, Halle.
No.
I got plans, baby.
You come on, watch some Walking Dead with me.
Sorry, Rosario. Not
Sorry.
not between the hours of 8 and 9. So I got things to do. Can't you just DVR? You don't understand. Yeah, The Walking Dead started out with the heat.
Oh my goodness!
But the turnaround happened quick on that. I don't know. Like it got to like the halfway through season 2. It's like, yeah, we got to watch Walking Dead, and I'm like,
do we?
Why?
I think post Governor 3rd season. That's when I was kind of like, I'm ready. Like I could miss an episode.
That's when I pieced out.
Yeah.
I think it really. What was the little girl's name in season 2?
Sophia.
The second she came out of the barn, that was jumping the shark.
Really? Because
And,
when
like-
she came out of the bun, I was like, oh,
Yeah,
shit.
that was like,
But
holy
if you
crap.
want to look
Like-
if you want to find the turning point of that show, it was either that moment or the moment Shane came back as a walker. And I think everything from that point on was downhill. And I don't think it's because of those specific moments. I just think the quality of the show started declining.
Interesting.
Because I think when Sophia came out of the barn, they had literally exhausted the despair we could feel for any one character on that show. It's never going. We're never going to achieve a lower point where we feel worse than Sophia coming out of that barn.
I disagree.
And what part was?
Carol
I can't
killing
wait to
them
hear
kids,
this.
man. That was
That was cold
That was
blooded.
that was a late spike.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
was really good.
What do you disagree? What do you have?
Oh no, I meant disagree about not being able to feel anything for any of the future characters. Like that, I mean, yeah, that was horrible about Sophia, but that didn't change the fact that I really fucking wanted Glenn to live.
Well, I
or that I felt. See, the Negan, the run up to actually introducing Negan, that's where I felt like it really started to lose.
Yeah, it was dragging there. Yeah,
There were multiple instances in, I think, that season and possibly the season before, where they almost but not quite killed Glenn, and it was just like they were trying to joke all the way up to it.
Yeah, it was 2
And
episodes prior with
Yeah.
the whole dumpster incident.
Yeah, and it
The dumpster incident sounds like a jump the shark kind of thing.
yeah, absolutely. So that's where I would say that it started to
People really pissed
decline.
off about that dumpster scene. I didn't see what the hubbub was. Like, he almost died, but he skirted his slippery little ass out of there. And I was like, well, good for you, Glenn. You almost died. And they kind of tried to get us with it.
It was manipulative.
That's why I liked it. They tug with your emotions. That's what they're supposed to do.
And did they ever show how he got out of that? Because I picture it has to
underneath
be
the body, right?
I would picture it has to be something akin to like the Walking Dead's version of when John McClane was surfing on the back of that plane in Die Hard 4, and it's like we've become something different, right? Like the whole this should not be possible based on the mechanics of the show we've understood up to this point. Like Glenn should never have been able to get out of that situation.
Yes.
Right.
Period. Right. So I mean when I say Sophia was like I don't think you could ever feel worse. Like I maybe you have a lot of goodwill for Glenn and maybe it feels a little bit worse, but like. I watched that part, and for me, like, I definitely never felt worse about a character or the entire group of characters than I did in that one moment.
Yeah.
And I was like...
Yeah.
That Merle that messed me up a little bit. Well, not even so much for Merle, but for Daryl.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any other... what up?
Oh, no, I was just going to say it could be partially due to the fact that I was late getting to the show, so I binged those first two seasons and wasn't catching up until the third. So I didn't have that build up.
It could be the week to week.
Where is she, and why haven't they found her yet?
Because for us, it felt like it was like a year,
Yeah.
and we didn't know where this kid was, and she was in that barn the whole time.
Yeah, and for me, I just blasted right through
Yeah.
it. So that could definitely
Maybe
be some of it. Yeah.
Any other TV shows out there?
Is Batman the Animated Series a cheat?
No.
Because that's definitely it,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Well,
I mean, like,
I still haven't watched that show.
what?
Yeah.
Holy cow!
Oh
Your
my
blind
God.
spot is
It's
biggest of blind spots.
I thought it was bad with Game of Thrones.
Wow. Oh man. Well, I don't think there's ever been a better comic to screen translation than Batman the Animated Series.
That's what everybody says, man.
It is because it's rare when you take source material and the source material isn't the best example of this character. But Batman the Animated Series did that. Like if you're only ever going to engage with Batman in one form, the animated series is the way to do it.
That's a tall ask.
Yeah.
my friend. That's
yeah.
a tall ask.
It's that good.
Yeah, they made their rogues gallery feel like actual people. Like
God, yeah, like Heart of Ice.
Yeah.
Heart of Ice is one of the best half hours of television you'll watch ever for anything.
The
Two-Face two-parter,
Yeah.
the first Clayface
Clayface,
two-parter.
yeah.
That Clayface two-parter is
Holy crap! Yeah,
Jesus. It's like I think animators died making that.
Time for production.
a shot rings out and they're like, we lost another one.
Little sky thing comes and picks it up and it goes about its day. It also gives Harley Quinn.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I would have to, and I would also give an honorable mention to the Marvel Netflix. Stuff.
Daredevil is it might be
Daredevil,
it for me.
mainly Daredevil. Yeah,
And there's other stuff out there like Preacher and Legion.
Legion is surprisingly good.
Winona Earp, The Tick, Cloak and Dagger, Runaway Titan. So there's all sorts of stuff out there.
Always loved The Tick. I always loved the animated series.
yes,
That was
yes.
that was wasted on children.
that was meant.
It was.
So
Oh, yeah,
wasted
it
on
was
children.
not.
It's so fucking funny though, man.
It was not for kids.
Some of the running gags they had in there, like what's that? I think it was the first episode where Chairface Chippendale destroyed the moon.
I think it's
like
like
third.
the fourth,
Yeah.
third or
Yeah.
fourth
Yeah,
episode.
and it stayed
It's a
destroyed the
CHA.
entire.
It's
yeah.
always there.
It's kind of like
eventually-
the Hollywoo and BoJack Horseman.
Yeah.
Eventually, they had a Galactus character, Omnipotus.
Yeah.
And Tick became his herald and was driving around on a golf cart, around his body on a golf cart. And eventually, he makes it to Earth, and like the way that Tick gets him to leave and not eat the Earth is you get to take a bite out of the moon. And then so you had from then on, the
the
moon had the
chunk
cha with a bite taken
Yeah.
out of it. It's like,
I loved what was it?
Marvelous.
Was it Human Bullet? Was that
Fire Me Boy.
Yes, and then fire him, and you would not see him until like later on in the
Very end of
episode.
Yeah, man, The Tick was an amazing
Oh, God,
show.
so good.
Amazing. And we got one last question. Yes, from Vikram, a Paprika regular. Vikram, he wants us to talk about, in lieu of Kevin Smith making a Jay and Silent Bob reboot, the View Askew-niverse. What's your favorite film from Kevin Smith's View Askew-niverse?
yes.
And what's your least favorite film from the Askew-niverse?
Ooh,
While y'all think it up, my favorite always has been and always will be Mallrats. Mallrats I've probably seen upwards of about 15 or 20 times in my day. I love it. It's endlessly quotable for me. And it also gave the world Jason Lee, which is comedically is one of my favorite actors. So underrated comedically.
Like in the back of a Volkswagen?
What, so many quotes come out of that joint. That's true. Least favorite is probably Dogma.
That was Mallrats was my entry point into the Venus universe, and then, of course, went back and watched Clerks and then watched some of the other stuff. But I'd have to say my favorite was actually his only true sequel, Clerks 2.
Okay.
Huh.
Okay.
It's like I actually liked it. I actually liked it a little better than the first one because it actually, had an actual story and it was
had color.
And you can it had a relatable story about people, growing up in their 30s and trying to figure out
their way.
Yeah.
What you got there, Leslie?
So this whole Askew-universe is tied up with a bit of nostalgia for a friend of mine that has since passed away. So I would say probably Clerks holds the most because I was working at a gas station convenience store at the time. He was working across the street at a Taco Bell and invited me over. He was like, "You've never seen Clerks? Oh my God, you have to see Clerks!" And I was like, "Oh,
You were
okay."
working as a waiter at a Taco Bell. I don't know why that jumped into my head.
But yeah, so I got introduced to the whole world through Clerks, and then without that tie-in, either Clerks 2 or Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I really enjoyed all of those. Least favorite would definitely be Dogma. Sorry.
Yeah. Brian?
I think about this a lot. And he's one of those guys that reached a point for me where I had to go back and reevaluate his catalog.
Yeah.
Because his output started to get so bad. Cop Out. So
Yoga Hoses was not.
Yoga Hoses.
I can't even, like,
Red State.
And I'm even willing to give him Jersey Girl. Like I'll say, okay, Jersey Girl, that's fine, whatever. But like once we got to Cop Out and that shit, I'm like, let's go back and take a hard look at where we've been.
Yeah.
I think to me when I was introduced to it the summer I started working at a movie theater. And everybody's talking about Clerks. It was like summer of '96, so Clerks had been out for about a year
94.
or two. Yeah, and so I went back, watched Clerks, really dug it. Mallrats I liked for a lot of reasons that were purely kind of, that I was into, the comic book aspect, all of that stuff. I was like really, but it was so goofy though, and I was like, this really, the Jay and Silent Bob characters carrying from Clerks into Mallrats is a weird transition for me, but. I think the objectively his best movie probably still Chasing Amy.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I loved Chasing Amy, and I still
That was
largely swear by that. Although I will cheat here a little bit and say my favorite View Askew-universe thing he ever did was the Clerks animated series.
Oh yes, yes.
My man. I love the animated.
And we're
Clerks.
talking about like quotability and everything.
Yeah,
Like,
wasn't that big B out by the dumpster?
God, I love it. Charles Barkley. Yeah. Like every episode,
Random
just like,
Get out of here, Charles.
yeah. God, that show is great.
It is. It is what my mind is. That show encompasses what goes on in my head at all times.
It's wonderful.
So we need a rewatch, is what you're saying.
Oh, I was thinking about it on the drive home from work the other day. I love that show.
What is Bear is driving car? How can this be?
The Transformers.
Yeah.
Blood spurting out.
It's great. It's so great.
Well, we got to wrap this bad boy up because the next people are in here waiting, giving us the evil.
All right, quick. Least favorite Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Fair enough.
Nothing but in jokes.
Yes.
I was okay with that.
It's like the Infinity War of his universe. You had to have seen.
Bring it all together.
Yeah.
That's it for this month's episode of Choose Our Own Adventure. We'll be back sometime in the month of April. I guess we'll do some kind of Easter theme shit. We'll figure it out. Until then, you guys take it easy, and we'll see you next month.